going to show you how to do the felted join. A felted join is a wonderful technique to know if you work a lot with wool or natural fibers. And what this technique is if we're knitting a project with a given yarn like this and we run out of yarn and we're ready to join in a new ball of yarn into our project, we actually can splice a new yarn and an old yarn together. We're going to basically use felting principles. We're going to splice these two ends together so that you can knit right across that join and you won't have any visible break in your fabric. It'll be invisible, and the best part of all is that you'll have no ends to weave in at that point where you switch skeins. So I'm going to show you how to do this today using two different wool yarns. I'm going to first demo this using these two marled yarns, and the reason for that is because the plies in these yarns are different colors. You can see I've got in this marl, I've got a black ply and a white ply, and in this marl, I've got a light brown ply and a white ply. So this is just to help you. I wouldn't be normally splicing two different colors of yarn together, but I'm going to go ahead and use this for demo purposes to make it easier to understand what's going on, and then I'll show you how to do this with a single color like you would if you were if you were doing this in a project. So the first thing you want to do when you're doing a felted join is take each of the ends of yarn. Let's say the black and white yarn is coming off of the skein that I'm finished knitting, and the brown and white yarn is the new skein that I want to join in. What you're going to want to do is take the ends of your yarn and unply them. So you're going to untwist, shoot for about 1.5 inches or 2 inches to undo your yarn. This is kind of a fun yarn detective moment because you get to find out how many plies your yarn has. It might have 2 plies like this yarn does. When you split it out, it's 2 separate plies. It might have 3 plies, it might have 4 plies. So this is another way to get to know the physics of the yarn that you're knitting with. So I've split my two plies out on my first skein, taking my second and doing the same, and you'll see I want to do about the same depth of unplying before I do this, because the idea is that what we're going to do is fork these two ends together like this, overlapping, interlock them, and then felt them together so they basically become one piece of yarn. Now you can see that I've done mine in such a way that I can lay them forked like that, interlocking like this. And I'm going to start there. I want to have that point of 1.5 inches, 2 inches where I have both of the yarns overlapping. And what we're going to do is felt these ends together. That's why this is called the felted join. And so in order to do this, we're going to also need a little bit of moisture. I have a little glass of water here. Whenever you're felting a project, whether that's on purpose or inadvertently, felting occurs when you've got 3 things happening concurrently. The first is heat. You need heat in order for the animal fibers to start to lock together. You need moisture, and you need agitation. So anytime you have those 3 things, heat, moisture, and agitation, and you're working with a wool fiber or an animal fiber that is not treated, this won't work with superwash yarns. This will only work with untreated animal fibers. Anytime you get those 3 things together, you're going to actually have your wool start to lock together on itself. If you've ever accidentally thrown a wool sweater into the washing machine and it came out 3 or 4 sizes smaller, this is what happened. It had heat, moisture, and agitation, and you got a much smaller sweater than you want. So that's the same principle we're employing on purpose today during the felted join. You can see that I've forked the 2 ends together. So now what I'm going to do is carefully lay that overlap on my hand. But before I do it, I want a little moisture on my hand. So I'm going to take my water here, just take a little drop of that and spread a little bit of moisture right onto the palm of my hand, and then lay the fibers right over top. And it's nice when you get that moisture there because the overlapping section will stick. And I'm going to do it one more time, just taking just a drop on my finger here and getting a little bit of moisture here. And now that I've got the moisture and the overlapping fiber, I'm gonna use the heat and the agitation by sandwiching my hands together and very firmly felting the ends together. And I'm being pretty vigorous here. You actually wanna feel heat in between your hands. And you'll notice that it starts to look like a single piece of yarn. Again, because we've got two different colors here, you can see that it's not. I like to move a little bit up and down, so really felt the top and the bottom of that join. Felt it really nice and firmly. And you've got a point in your yarn now that you could knit right through that, knit it right into your fabric, and it'll be completely invisible and save you two yarn ends to join in. So now if I was to continue knitting this into my fabric, I just want to be a little bit gentle with it as I'm feeding my yarn onto my needles. Once I get to that point, you don't want to really grab and pull it. Just keep a light touch as you're passing over the join point and knitting it into your fabric, and you'll be fine. You won't get any fraying ends. This is going to be cleaner the more heat, moisture, and agitation you have in that felting process. So you'll notice that for this length of yarn, this about 2-inch section, I've got a 2-ply yarn and a 2-ply yarn coming together. So for this 2-inch section, that's actually a 4-ply yarn, right? Because 2 of the plies and 2 of the plies were overlapping. That normally would mean that you'd get a thicker spot in your yarn, but because I'm compressing it so hard as I felt it, you actually want that overlap to be more plies than your actual yarn is, so that when it gets compressed, it's an equal weight. And I've created a little diagram here to show you how this would work with different yarns. So I'm using a 2-ply in this first demonstration. You can see one yarn splits out to 2 and one yarn splits out to 2. But what happens if we're using 3 or 4 in this case? So you want to play around depending on how many plies you have to end up with your overlap being a little bit more than the number of plies in your yarn. So for a 3-ply yarn, you can see I've got these little red tips here for that 3rd ply that I cut out. And I'm going to do that on my next demo. I have a 3-ply yarn I'm going to show this on. But this, again, it's 3-ply and 3-ply. We've taken 1 ply out, so it's essentially 2 plies at the overlap point, or 4 total. And again, so 4 here or 4 here. Here I have 4 plies. I've taken 1 ply out each. So what I'm left with is 3 on this side, 3 on this side, and an overlapping point of 6. So you can play around given however many plies you have to work with, but just keep in mind that it is good to have 1 or 2 more plies in your overlapping point than you have in your working yarn, so that when you felt it, it creates that even width that looks like the same. You won't get a thin spot in your knitting. So let's do this with a 3-ply yarn. In a more traditional sense, this is a normal yarn, 1 color. It's not marled like the yarns we've shown. I'm going to take one end and I'm going to join it to another end, and you'll get to see how nice and invisible this is. I could use all 3 plies on each side if I wanted to and have an overlap point of 6 plies. Or I could thin this out a little bit and I could snip out 1 of the plies on this side and 1 of the plies on this side and have 4 overlapping. I'm gonna change it up on you and only snip out 1 ply from this side, but leave this side because it forks very nicely together to have 2 and 3 like this. So I'm gonna lay these down, interlocking like that, and try and get them to overlap as far down as the point where you split, just so you don't get any thin spots. So you can see in this overlapping point now, I have all 5 of those plies basically like this. I had 3 on this side, 2 on this side. They're coming together like that. And again, I'm gonna felt these together. I got my little water cup here. You may have heard this felted join technique referred to by its colloquial name, the spit splice. And you can also, you don't need this cup of water. This often happens when you're in the car, on the go, you need to switch your yarn out. You don't have a classy glass of water next to you. You can lick your hand and it will do the exact same thing. I'm not gonna do that in the video, but I won't say it's not something I do on my own when I need to. So I'm gonna take a little bit of water and put it on my palm there. Again, lay that down. That little bit of moisture helps hold everything in place. Take it just a touch more. This is just a drop or two to get things slightly moist. You don't need to get this very wet. In fact, if you get this super wet, it's just gonna make it more difficult. This is very, very little moisture, just enough moisture to activate that felting process when I add the heat and the agitation. All right, so I've got my moisture, I've got all of my ends put together. Now's the fun part. Rub those hands together nice and firm until you feel a good amount of heat being generated. And I do this for, I don't know, maybe 10 seconds. And I kind of move up and down as well. So I'm really getting that pressure point on all the parts of that join. And the nice thing is, by the time you're done, this is already dry. And boom, look at that. You can see there's just a little bit of thickness there, but this is so slight that you wouldn't really notice this in your fabric. It's gonna be more invisible than if you were weaving two ends in and trying to do that invisibly. And now, basically my old skein and my new skein have one contiguous connection point. Again, I wouldn't be really aggressive on this join, but once that gets knitted into your fabric, it's just as strong as the rest of your yarn. So as you're knitting this, just be a little bit gentle with the join point as it gets processed into your stitches, and you'll weave in so many fewer ends in your life now that you know how to do this technique. So I hope that's helpful, and that's how you do the felted join.